Hey everyone, Hard Money Mike here. Today we're going to go through a quick calculation showing you how to calculate the DSCR ratio used in DSCR loans, which are the easy loans for rental properties, both buying and refinancing. They calculate income based on the rents and they use a factor called DSCR ratio. So we're going to go through how do you calculate that. It comes from two items and two items you need. Number one is income. What is the rental income, monthly rental income from the property? And number two, they compare that just like you would do if you're looking for cash flow from a property on what are the expenses. Now on the DSCR loan, they only look at four items for expenses. It's the mortgage payment, it's the monthly property taxes, it's the monthly insurance, and the monthly HOA. So you're going to take those items on the expense side and compare them to the income side to come up with what they call the DSCR ratio. To make this easy, we have a free download at hardmoneymike.com, the DSCR calc. So go to hardmoneymike.com, download it, and we'll run through an example here on how to use the software, but also how to quickly calculate the ratios on different types of mortgage products. When I mean mortgage products, I mean like an interest only compared to a 30-year compared to maybe a 40-year. Let's run through an example now. First of all, like we said, we need to find out what the mortgage payment is. If you don't know that, you just start at the top. We'll put in an estimate here. We're going to start with $300,000 as our value of our property. Now we got to figure out the loan amount. So in this case, we're going to put in a maximum loan of 75%. Now the loan to value, it just determines on what you qualify, where you're at. So don't just think it's always 75%. It could be higher, it could be up to 85%, or it could be lower depending on your circumstances. But in this case, we're just going to use 75% for the loan, and we're going to come up with a loan of $225,000. And now for this example, let's just use 7% as the interest rate. Now what this software does, as you see, is it's calculated the interest payments on three different products: interest only, a 30-year AM, and a 40-year AM. You'll see that down in the calculated monthly payments. You'll see them listed one right after the other. Now that we have the mortgage payments, now let's look at the other expenses, which is property taxes. Let's use a factor here just to make it simple of $150. And remember, you could go and play with this. You could put in real numbers that you have on real properties or estimates whenever you want. Number two, let's go and put in property insurance, the monthly property insurance. And here we're going to use $100. And last, we're HOA. Not every property has HOA, but if it does, you need to put that number in this spreadsheet. And here, once again, for examples, we're going to use $100. Now that we have all of our expenses in here, remember the four items that DSCR is looking for, which is your mortgage payment, your monthly property taxes, your monthly insurance, and your monthly HOA. Now let's go and put the income, your rent, either the rent that you are getting on the property or what you've calculated as the estimated rent for the area for that particular property. In this case, let's just use $1,700 as an example so we could see a couple different numbers in the DSCR ratios that are calculated. Now that we have our numbers in, you're going to see below in the DSCR calculations, this software came up with three different examples: one for the interest only, one for a 30-year, and one for a 40-year. This just gives you a different look at different cash flows on different loan products. So you could either maybe find a DSCR loan that's interest only, 30-year or 40-year, depending on if you want to pay it off faster or you're just looking at cash flow. In this case, as you can see in interest only, they have the monthly costs, the rents, and then they figure out the DSCR. In this example, what we see is a DSCR of 1.023. What this represents is that the rents are higher than the expenses by 1.023. That's good for you because it means that you're bringing in cash flow, positive cash flow on this property. It's also good when you're looking for a DSCR loan because the higher that number, meaning 1 plus, it means you could get better loan terms, meaning better rates, better loan to values, all those kind of things. The higher that number, the better it is for loan terms. Before we go on, if you could give us a like, it helps us reach out to other investors and make sure they're getting this information also. Now let's look at the next example, the 30-year mortgage. In the 30-year mortgage, you see that the DSCR ratio is under 1. It's actually 0.92. So this property is not cash flowing, meaning you're paying more in expenses than the rents that are coming in. So this is a negative cash flow property. It's not good for you. And the lenders also look at it as, since it's not cash flowing, that's probably something that they have to think about when they're underwriting. There's all kinds of loans available for DSCR loans under 1. It just means you're going to have a higher rate maybe have to put more money into the property. So a quick DSCR calculation, you could use this software or you could just go in and compare your expenses against your rents. But I think using a calculator such as this from the Hard Money Mike site helps you quickly analyze each property. If you have any questions, you want us to run through a scenario for you, or even price out a DSCR loan, reach out to us. Our email's below. And as we always say, happy investing.